Hello, boys and girls. We are live. It is Saturday, guys. Sharon C. Cooper is hanging out with us for tea time. Of course, we have Tiffany Jones of Tiff's Happy Place. And guys, today we're going to be spilling a little bit of tea for his to defend. I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited. Sharon, I have been excited all week because I knew that on Saturday I get to have tea time with two of my faves or what have you too. So guys, welcome to Angela's Literary Tea. You guys know how we do it here. Of course, we're going to introduce ourselves, tell you what we're wearing and what we are drinking on today. Tiffany, we're going to start with you. For those who may not know, this is Tiffany of Tiff's Happy Place. Introduce yourself and tell us what you're wearing and drinking today.
Hey everybody, I'm Tiffany and I am wearing from author Sharon Blount, Sisters in Books, Book Life t-shirt. Got it off her website. Awesome. I love it. And I have my favorite mug, Cuddled Up in Read Romance.
Okay.
And inside my mug is strawberry hibiscus tea.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. And of course, guys, author Sharon C. Cooper, who is hanging out with us, who is the queen of romantic suspense that bring us all the goodness that have us, putting on our detective hats and getting in there as well. She brings us a little bit of suspense. She brings the mystery. Of course, she brings the romance every time. Sharon, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Sharon C. Cooper, and I write contemporary romance and romantic suspense. And I am tapping into a little bit of romantic comedy in the spring.
Yes.
And I'm drinking water from one of my favorite mugs from Carolyn Hector. She's an author. I'm not sure if you've heard of her, but if you haven't, look her up, Carolyn Hector.
Yes.
And wearing one of my shirts. Gotta look and see which one I had on. Oh, it's about the one where I'm a writer. Be careful what you say to me because whatever you say might end up in one of my stories.
I love that.
And that, goes for any and everybody.
I love that. And of course, boys and girls, I am Angela Anderson of Angela's Literary Tea. And of course, I have Angela's Literary Cafe as well. Today, I'm loving like my brand right now, guys. So I am rocking my brand t-shirt, Angela Anderson Presents. And of course, guys, I am drinking out of my Sharon C. Cooper mug. This is one of my favorites. This is another series that she has, the Atlanta Finest. So I am rocking that today. And I switched it up a little bit for you guys. Today, I'm actually drinking chai, and it is delicious. I'm trying something new, so I purchased some. Of course, I still love my hot lemon tea, but I am drinking chai on today. So guys, are you ready to get into it? I know I am ready to get into it. We have some people hanging out with us. We have Antoinette Gates. We have Tony Bonita that's hanging out with us. We have Robin hanging out with us as well. We have Brenda hanging out with us and some other folks as well. Guys, of course, you know how we do it here. If you are watching live on Facebook or if you're watching live on YouTube as well, put your comments in the comment section. We love juicy conversation. We'll be sure to include you as well. And so, guys, we're going to get started. If you don't know, we are talking about His to Defend. This is one of Sharon C. Cooper's latest release as well. It is an amazing read. And so if you have any questions for Sharon or any comments, definitely include them in the comment section as well. Hey, Veronica, thank you so much for joining us. We also have author Sharon Blount out there. Sharon, Tiffany is rocking your shirt on today. Thank you for joining us as well. So, boys and girls, because we know that the hour goes by so fast, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So, Sharon and Tiffany, I don't know if you guys know, but Sharon, with this one, you started off like in the first scene with some juicy stuff, okay? I was like, okay, hit us with a headliner, why don't you? She pulled you right in, boys and girls, right at the very, beginning or what have you. And one thing was funny for me, Sharon. Okay, first of all, it's in Vegas. Okay, so y'all know the saying, what stays in Vegas, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. So first of all, you kind of got like this semi love triangle, if you want to say as much. But let's talk about Jeremy and being introduced to him, or what have you, because he's one of those that at the very beginning, it's like you love to hate the brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, I don't know where he came from. It was just one of those things where I don't even know, I can't even remember if he was in my initial plans, but it just, you start typing and it just kind of worked itself out. I didn't plan to make him as evil though. But hey,
Hey,
and I didn't really think about it as a love triangle until a reader mentioned that to me. Especially since a certain something happens to Jeremy, and it's like,
right.
oh yeah, I guess it would sort of kind of be a love triangle, So yeah,
He
Jeremy was
low down.
Yeah, he really was.
And not that type of low down. His mannerisms and his behavior. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. I don't want anybody to get it twisted.
Right. Because even when you started to feel a little bit of something for him or whatever, it was like, what? This Joker did what?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Let me tell you, I was reading the book and I sounded like a high school girl. I kept, oh my God, really? That was me throughout the whole book. And my husband's looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, you don't get it. You're not a reader. You just don't get it.
Look, Sharon, Mama Tony wanted to know. She said, at what point did he make you mad enough to change him? Mama Tony, for Jeremy's character. As well. And so Tiffany shared her thoughts of Jeremy's character. I've shared mine as well, guys. If you're just joining us, we are talking with author Sharon C. Cooper. We are talking about her latest release, His to Defend. Let's talk a little bit about Amina a little bit and her thoughts. And then Sharon, of course, before we go to Amina, if I could add on to what Tiffany said for him being low down. Oh yeah, and then he was such a jerk about it. Like, when he was like, because he knew that, just to get the one up on Matt, it was like, really, dude?
But that's your best friend. But that's your best. Hello.
Did that surprise?
Okay, look, that's not my best friend. And I know people that do that call you their best friend because they trust you and they trust you with a knife in their hand, so to speak. And he just annoyed the crap out of me only because I know people like that. And I'm just like, dude, like, you only like him because he's going to be that person, that fall guy for you. He's the nice guy. So he's that guy.
What point did you stop? At what point did you just like want to choke him or just
at the beginning
not stand him or his
at the beginning?
I'm with Tiffany, believe it or not, Sharon, it was at the beginning. When I saw his behavior in the car, first of all, if this guy was like your best friend and like I said, he was such a jerk about it. It was almost like yeah, I did it. And basically saying, you just mad because she chose me over you. Like still going, I was just like, dude, really?
Because even when they sat and discussed the events that led up to him finding out what truly happened, like, I'm sorry. Dude was just grimy. Like, he was as grimy as the streets that he protected. Like, no, ma'am. No, sir. Mm-mm.
Look, Brenda said that. I like that. She said Jeremy had no redeeming qualities at all. He's not even his own best friend.
Hello. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Sharon,
that's true.
Did you think that we would that it would take us some time not to like him? Because the way you wrote it, like Tiffany said, yeah, it was at the very beginning. Like I'm like, okay, he a jerk.
Wanted him to be a jerk. In that direction in my, because he wasn't originally supposed to be like that. But then once I saw him kind of going like that and I started tweaking it, I was like, let's just run with it. Let's
roll with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
and it was kind of fun because, throughout the story. throughout the story, it was one thing after another, and I had fun with that part. I hate to say it, but
Them
at his
dominoes kept
expense, I
falling.
enjoyed that part.
Right. It
Them
was one of those like if in your mind you're like, okay, nothing else could happen, and then this person would show up, and then this person would show. It was like, okay.
dominoes, like the
So the
whole
person kind of was
deck
like,
of
what has
cards.
this guy gotten themselves into, gotten them into it, or what have you. But and at the beginning, I don't know if this was the way Tiffany saw it, but Sharon, the way that you wrote it, it literally played itself like a movie. So like when you're watching like some of
Oh yeah.
the mystery suspense movies, and they'll like you'll see, how most of the time like you'll see somebody walking and you're like, okay, something about to happen to her, something about to happen to her, or something about
Yes.
to happen to him. And
Yep.
so it was like you played it that way. So it happened at the very beginning. So we
Were you
knew
surprised?
yeah,
No.
I didn't know it was gonna be that fast. Like, but I knew that something. I was like, something is about to
Okay.
happen. So
As
but when it did, go ahead.
As soon as Maxwell said his spidey senses were tingling,
Yeah, I was like,
all right,
something about to happen.
which one is it? And then the hospital, when she was leaving the hospital, like I knew right there, listening to how you described her walking to her car, I knew something was about to happen. It just made sense that
So
everything
you braced
intertwined.
yourself, huh?
Yeah. It literally was playing it. Like I could see this one on the big, all of your books I can, but this one, as I was reading it, I was literally seeing it on the big screen, and it definitely had it definitely had that type of feel. Now Samantha was my girl, her friend at the hospital, the nurse at the hospital.
Oh, that was so cute. That was one of the high school girl moments that I had when she was helping her out or whatever. But I was like, you see, that's the type of friend that you need in your corner at work. Like you always need that one friend at work. I don't go to work to make friends, but if I make a friend, I would like her to be like Samantha.
Look, because even though it took her a while, but when she found, because usually if you see somebody, I know for me it's like that too. Like if I can't take a call at the time, but if I see a person keep calling back to back, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, this is gonna be, they may really need me. And like you said, of course, I could just hear her interrogating him, to make sure that he was okay before she started, giving him the information that it was. But she was like, yeah, after I realized that he was indeed a cop, I felt like it was okay.
Were you surprised walked in? Did you expect him to show up?
Did
you expect Maxwell to show up?
Yes, absolutely.
For me, somewhere in my gut, I felt like he was gonna show up. I didn't know exactly that he was gonna be the one to take her home, but somewhere in my gut, I felt like he was gonna be at that hospital. That somewhere he was gonna find out that sister girl was in trouble, and he was gonna come running. And indeed, he did.
And the only reason why I felt that way was because of what had just happened, and because of the connection that he has with Amina. I knew that he wasn't going to be far away because there was still that part of the puzzle that wasn't connected and finished. So until that was done, he always had that in his heart to protect her because Jeremy wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Her family was out of town. So she had no one else. He didn't know her friends like that because he had cut ties with them months ago because of the way Jeremy was acting. So
yeah.
I get it. I was just, but I thought honestly that she was going to go with the doctor. And I was like, wait a minute. He's crossing the lines on so many levels and he's not stopping himself. He's like very persistent with it. I'm like, dude.
I felt like, for me, I felt like she would have went home with Samantha before she went home. I felt like
she was very hesitant about that.
You know how it's like, they worked together, so she knew that she needed to keep it professional, and she took pride in what she did or what have you. So it was like, one, she didn't want to blur the lines, but she also wanted to kind of keep it where it was a comfortable working relationship. So I felt like she would find a way to kind of wiggle her way out of like not having him take her home or what have you. But of course, for Samantha, like after that, she was like, yeah, I know. She was like, yeah, good one, Samantha, thank you. Like you literally saved the day, because she was not trying to go home.
But the way he busted into the room, oh my God. I thought he was going to rip the neck off.
Look, and I like the fact, I know we're skipping a little bit, guys. Again, like I said, feel free to chime in here because we are spilling the tea. Let's talk about when, the car ride, okay? When he was like, she was like, yeah, you can just take me back. He was like, about that. Because in my mind, of course he was like, he was like, I would never step foot in that house. He was just like, I can't see that. But again, he also knew that he needed to protect her. And like Tiffany said, there was no way he was going to let her be alone. So he was like, about that, I was thinking, you could go to my house, blah, blah, blah. And so when they get there, they had their like conversation when they kind of had their come to Jesus when they were sitting at the table or what have you. And she was like, yeah, why was you looking? Like she like, dang, he looking at it twice. Because remember the first time, she was like, she was like, my dad would, but there had to be a reason. She was like, he's not a criminal. He's not. Why was you looking at like you was about to take his head off?
Yeah. Look, I think all of us, especially women, like, I know me, my daughter gets mad at me sometimes. I have those moments when I'm like, I'm not feeling that person. I don't like that person. I don't want you around them. But my daughter's grown now. She's 20. So it's like, you do what you got to do, but you're going to hear what I got to say. Something ain't right about XYZ. Like, you have those premonitions and feelings. And then as a cop, they're even more heightened than, I guess, a regular person, only because of what you do on a daily basis. But we all get those feelings. It's just whether you act upon them or keep them in the back of your head while you're going along with whatever you're doing.
Now, did you guys understand or what were your thoughts about him not wanting to go back to her house?
Oh, there was too much dead energy there. Like the energy just wasn't right for him. And I get it. Like, it's like bad juju, so to speak.
Okay.
Sometimes when you go into a place that has a bad memory or bad connection, you just don't want to revisit it because it's like bad karma, bad feelings, bad energy that just sits there. And Jeremy was that bad energy, and his energy was still in that house, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it was like, even though I felt like Max had forgiven him to a certain extent, it was just like Tiffany said, it was just too much. Like, and of course, the last time he had stepped foot, in the house or whatever, he had to punch the guy out because he was disrespecting Amina, and then knowing what Jeremy had did, that, he didn't even give Amina his note, and that he really didn't even want her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But because Max, he saw that, she was feeling Max and Max was feeling her. He wanted to one up him, so he was just like, you know what? Yeah, I don't even want to deal with those vibes.
But he didn't even realize that was a thing of a one up that Jeremy had all along. Mm-hmm. That was something that Jeremy hid well. Maxwell never knew that Jeremy always wanted to one up him and felt like he was the pretty boy, the token boy, or whatever have you. And he didn't find that out until this happened, and he sat down and had that one-to-one with Amina. So it hit him hard too because he trusted this dude. This was his best friend. Like at the beginning of the book, because we skipped it, like they all met at a party many moons ago, and Amina and Maxwell had a great chemistry and connection, which I love. Like, that man that you find that you can talk to, easygoing and whatever have you. And then you go to the bathroom with your girlfriends and you come back and he's gone and you don't understand why. He gives his best friend a note to give to you. And the best friend is like, oh, you like her? All right, I got you. What kind of friend is that? But because he didn't know that was Jeremy's thought process.
Yeah. And I think he was also, you could tell that he was hurt because I think he really did consider him a best friend, but to think that somebody had an ulterior motive that like they really didn't.
They took really from him basically,
like that, if that makes sense. But yet, they were acting like they did. I think that hurt. And then the friend code, even though his friend had backstabbed him, he still was kind of like the friend code, like, but still that was my best friend. It was, it was wrong what he did to me, but I mean, this is my best friend's
but
wife.
Then he, in a little way, he blamed Amina. In a small way. day, he blamed Amina because he was like, well, you went along with it. You weren't as interested as I was, obviously, because here you are telling me I should have looked for you. You could have did the same. Your father was in the force. So,
look, but she shot back. She was like, that was a little childish to
right.
give my
High school.
that was a little childish.
But that was the thing. He didn't know how to blur the line between work and play.
Yeah, and I think he
work was
realized
more
that it was a little
important
too
than
late,
play.
but he realized that he was like, man, I put that was another example
Looking
of
back.
how I put my job before, my personal life, and I lost out on someone that meant a lot to me as well. And I felt like he was a good one, because think about before, that incident happened, how when they would be in the same circles, it would be uncomfortable, but he would compliment her in a non-threatening way, or even for both of them when they was in each other's presence, just the way the sparks flowed, even when they were married, neither one of them would definitely cross that line. I think they definitely respected the friendship enough for that, and she respected her marriage. No matter how big of a jerk her husband was, they wouldn't cross those lines. So I didn't ever feel like that, what have you. And that was again another reason that Max was like, you know what, I'm out. I just have to stay away, because I can't, these feelings that a brother have inside, I can't keep doing it to myself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can we talk about the first night at the house after he picked her up from the hospital? Can we talk about that, please?
Sharon, you ought to knew you was not gonna get off without talking about that part. That Tiffany, that's probably the part I read as well. Yes, where our brother was thinking he was dreaming.
I just want to know how they wound up in the position that they were in, because when they fell asleep, his legs were stretched out, which would mean they were in front of him, and she was on the side, leaning on him, and he was holding her. How they end up in the position that they was in, Miss Sharon?
Hey,
you the writer. Don't tell me you don't know. You the writer.
Look, Sharon, inquire where minds want to know, because look, now for us book nerds out there, when you see stuff in italics, that usually that's their thoughts, their dreaming, or what have you. So yeah, you had us. So I was like, okay, yeah, he's dreaming. I can see that. But then when he heard this moan and he wake up, it's like, this is a little more real. And Sharon, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to find it to read it. Sharon, the part where that was so funny to me, where remember, of course, he was like, okay, he needed her to get up, but
yes,
he was doing it. He was like, wait, just be still.
I forgot about that part.
I need to get myself together. So
he was holding her at the hips, like, don't move, just stay. I know you feel what I'm going through right now. Just stay still. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt myself.
I totally forgot about that part.
But Tiffany, did you notice that it was wrote in that, when she did get up and he had to adjust himself, he was like, I don't even feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, hey. Sharon,
that was one of my high school girl moments.
That's one of my favorite
yes.
What was your thoughts when you was writing that, Sharon?
I was just having fun with it.
Well, we enjoyed reading it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I knew it was going to go that route, but I just felt it was needed.
Because they both were struggling. Like, the other funny part, remember when they was watching the movie or what have you,
yes.
And love that franchise, by the way, Sharon. So I was like, yes, I love that. And when they was watching it, and she was trying not to look at him. Well, she was trying not to, but she was just sitting there, and her body was just doing all kind of stuff. And she was like, and then his leg was touching hers. A sister was going through, like, in her mind, she was like, man, if I could just kiss him, if I could just, or what happened. So, and then when he looked at her, she was like, she could see it in his eyes. She was like, I can imagine he having some of the same thoughts that I'm having.
And in my head, I was thinking, how weird would it be after so many years, and for the reasons why they were together? Yeah.
And I love that about them. was that their connection was organic
Okay.
and it was real. It wasn't forced. It was just there, and it was
Yeah.
theirs. It was there, and then was theirs, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Yes.
And it was just a beautiful connection, kindred spirits, so to speak, I guess. And the way he cared for her, even when Jeremy was alive, he cared for her, but from a distance, and he would have done anything for her, whether Jeremy was there or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a bleeding heart for her, knowing that Jeremy was putting her through everything that he was putting her through. You know,
Yeah.
he really did. Yeah, soulmates,
And even
definitely.
her parents had a respect, for Max, as well. Her parents did too. Like you said, her dad, invited, even though he had distanced himself, but when her dad invited her to the party, he was like, you know what? I don't really want to go, but
Can't say no
she
to
invites
can't
me.
say
Yeah,
no.
he was like, I gotta be there for her, and just seeing her even there, that connection was there. But they knew, okay, and like I said, I think when he saw Jeremy disrespect her, I think for him it was a reflex. It was just it
Now,
won't even.
would you have wanted to see that played out on paper?
What?
That particular scene, because I didn't
For me
actually.
personally,
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Now, Sharon, is that a deleted scene?
It was a scene I tried to write over and over, and it just didn't come together.
See, Mama Tony agrees with me. She says yes.
Me, I liked it as I don't really want to use the word afterthought, but I like that they brought it up in, like, they told us about it. I think for me, because
you're okay with that.
It kind of gave him one of the reasons of not wanting to go back there. It gave him, and for me, I still got it. Like, I still felt it, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's
so
good.
For me, the way that it was written, it worked for me. But people may have different opinions or what have you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wanted to hear words. I wanted to know.
You wanted to see him get knocked out, basically.
Like Smokey, you got knocked out. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So guys, share with us. Put in the comment section if you read it. Did you want to see that scene acted out? Let Sharon know. Put it in the comment section. We would love to hear your thoughts. Are you like Tiffany that, hey, you wanted to see all of that?
But like when I envision Max, like I envision him to be this nice sized dude, like my husband, 6 feet, over 200 pounds, and like I can imagine him just standing there and just like his blood boiling and knee-jerk reaction, bam, right in the face. That's in my head. That's what's going through. But I don't know, Sharon. I don't know how that went down.
Just like you said. That's exactly how it happened.
Just like you said, Tiffany. And Sharon and Tiffany, I can even imagine the power behind that punch. Because think about it. He already had it built up that this joker now stole my girl, okay?
Yep.
And he did it in a slimy way. And now he disrespecting her. Oh, he had all that bottled up.
All kind of rage.
So yeah, Jeremy was probably out for a few minutes.
And then on top of that, he was under the influence. He was already drunk, so
right.
that would have been an easy knockout.
Yeah. And he came late to the party, so yeah. There was
Sharon, many that reasons. Was probably a punch for the old, the new, and anything else stupid you do.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So Sharon, which out of that, we're talking about Amina, we talked about Jeremy, and we have talked about Max. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with Sharon C. Cooper. Guys, we are spilling a little bit of tea about his to defend. Of course, you know how we do here. Chime in the comment section. We'll be sure to include you as well in this conversation. So Sharon, I know you were saying that initially you didn't kind of write it as a love triangle or what have you. But I do like the fact of how, like Tiffany said, they had like that connection or what have you with Amina and Max, that it wasn't lost or what have you. Where did that come from? Like because even though they may have kind of talked about it a little bit, and they really didn't get to talk about it until she had came over after the incident had happened or what have you. But what was your thoughts of that, for them to say, okay, I still want them to kind of like have that connection, but yet still having that conversation with themselves, because both of them was thinking about that friend code, like, before they was like, what, forget it. We gonna do us. But again, that was one of the things that was kind of like neither one of them wanted to cross that friend code.
Them angels on the shoulder, the good and bad angel.
Yeah. I'm not sure why, or I can't remember. That story was written over a year ago, so I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've written probably 5 books since that story.
All right now.
Yep.
Bookmaking machine.
I know.
Yeah, but I can't remember what my frame of thinking was. I know I love second chance romances.
Absolutely.
And friends to lovers. And even though before she married Jeremy, her and Max didn't really get the chance to really sit down and really know each other. But they had just enough interactions to where there was still a bond. There was still a respect for each other, a friendship of sorts, And so I think that's what in my head I was thinking, let's just play that all the way out and see what happens, basically. Yeah. So that's how.
Good job. That's all I can say. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes. Good job, Sharon. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I like the reality of it all, because true friends and good people, that is gonna be, like Max was thinking that, even though he was a jerk, he was just, slimy and all this stuff, he still was like, you know what, at one point in time, this was my best friend. And I respect that, this was his wife or what have you. And even after, they had divorced or what have you, and those feelings, he was just like, I don't want to cross this line, even though this girl had my heart, what have you. He just really didn't want to cross that line or disrespect that as well. Look, but her sister, however.
Yes, I was just thinking that, Angela. I was just thinking about that. Her sister.
Was it Katrina? Wait. Katrina? Was it Katrina?
I can't remember.
I think it's Katrina. Hold on. Look,
the one
let's
in DC.
Let's talk about her a little
right?
bit.
Yeah, the lawyer.
Yeah, she lived in DC. Let's see. When they had that phone conversation, look, how about when she went to the bed? She was like, why did you hang up? I told you I would be right back. And then she jumped right back in.
Yeah. She Katrina. Was going hard.
Katrina. Yeah.
She was going hard on Jeremy. Like,
but that's how sisters do, though.
Absolutely. But you could tell, like, because Katrina was an outsider. Like, okay, so Max knew Jeremy well. Amina was married to Jeremy. Katrina's the outsider. He was married into the family. It wasn't like she had to have an everyday reaction with him like Maxwell and Amina. So when you see her talk about how much of an he was, you just really, it makes sense, like why I feel the way I feel, because I'm agreeing with Katrina. Like, I wasn't there, but girl, I hear you. I understand you. I feel your pain, because if that was my sister, I'd be mad too. But then she was also pushing for the relationship between Max and Amina, and I like that too. Like, she knew that there was a connection there. She saw it when she saw them.
And she knew he was a good guy,
Yes.
After, especially after Amina had to deal with Jeremy's mess, knowing that Max was there, he cared about her, and he was a good guy, Yeah, that's what she wanted for Amina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what definitely what you're saying, Sharon, that's what she wanted for him. And most of the time, what sister, if you have a good relationship with your sister, we want what's best for each other. And I felt like she wanted what was best for her sister, and then knowing what she went through with Jeremy, she was like, ugh, this, I know my sister can do better. And the way that this guy was treating, my sister, what have you too. But yeah, that was funny to me. I was like, Katrina is a mess. Because remember, Amina was like, like he just died. And like, can we?
He was like, so what?
Dad.
That's me. So what? He's a jerk. So what? I don't care. I love you, but I don't care.
Now, Tiffany and Sharon, you can definitely chime in as well. When the incident happened in the parking lot to Amina, I know Tiffany was saying that, when she was walking to her car, she got that feeling like, okay, something is about to happen, or what have you. Did you get that feeling, Tiffany, that there was going to be like some type of connection? I know I did, especially with the theme for the neck, because I don't know if y'all remember that's where Jeremy was shot at. I was like, is this somehow connected?
I didn't even think about that.
In my mind, I was like, I wonder if this is going to be somehow connected, that now this guy or whoever is coming after her or what have you, or had been following her or what have you for that. And for me, I just felt like it was something to it when, especially like I said, it was the neck. And I was thinking, Sharon, once Max had got there, and in his mind, the detective in him too, he was like, it was like he kind of got that feeling. And then the same thing, like I think when it was the neck as well, he was like, like, could it be
too much of a coincidence?
Connected to what have you? Yeah.
I didn't feel that
what
way.
Brenda said. People know what my family like, Jeremy, for real.
I didn't feel that way, but I did feel that the guy that was coming after Amina was connected to who killed Jeremy. That's what I felt. And the fact that he came out of nowhere, like, she really wasn't on high alert to her surroundings. No.
But the way he approached her,
right,
it was originally a non-threatening way. I don't know if you remember
but
that.
her spidey senses said otherwise. She was like,
right, because even when she saw him,
where the hell you come from asking for money?
Yeah.
And then you could tell that she kind of went on alert, because at that moment she started checking her surroundings. She was like, ugh, I'm too far from the building for somebody to hear me. So, and then she kind of put like her, her keys in her hand to kind of use as so it was almost like she was, and then she was like, wait, don't come too close. But again, I'm sure this guy was bigger, because it sounds like, she was a nice height, but it still sounds like that she was, she was not a big woman. Does that make sense? She was petite. Tiny. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. She was,
or wasn't as big as he was.
Because she was petite, they're short, and But anyway, she knew her senses was enough to say, you know what, I still kind of need to be on alert, because this is kind of out the blue, somebody, asking for money or what have you. But I don't know about you guys, but I was rooting for a sister. I was rooting for her.
I wanted to know what security was. That's what I wanted to know. Where was security? Ain't security normally driving around in that little mini car with the light?
They were on the other side of the parking lot.
How big was this hospital, Sharon?
But I like the fact that what her father had, with her father being a cop, what her father had taught her. Because the first thing she was like, okay, I need to calm down. I need to calm down so I can think, or what have you. And so as she, started calming down, or what have you. But when he, cut her neck, I was actually thinking that it was even worse than what it was.
Yeah,
like I was picturing it like this Joker done, he done slice a nice piece of chunk, or what have you. And so that whole part, but she got away. That was my thing.
It's funny that you mentioned the neck, because I didn't connect those when I was writing it. That's just how it played out while I was typing. But it's
Sharon, I be putting on my detective hat, but I be yes. So I caught that about the neck. The details.
But now that you mention it, I planned it like that. Yeah.
goodness, yeah, and yeah, I don't know, yeah, but that was one of the things that stood out to me was the neck, and like I said, I immediately went back to where Jeremy was shot at. So I just me and my detective hat. That's what we gonna blame it on. Yeah, I was Max's
Yeah.
assistant.
It's cool that you caught that though. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Now, at the beginning,
Look,
when the story began, I felt like it was a setup. The way things happen, I did. Like from the beginning, I felt like it was a setup because why was it when Jeremy was with Maxwell and they normally are never together? Why
never
was
together.
it that happened at that particular
Actually,
moment?
that was just by chance that they were together. It was the location.
Oh.
It was the location of where it happened, where Jeremy, he had been showing up at that location.
Well, we find that out later, but
right,
yeah.
quite a bit. But I could see at the very beginning, like, okay, something's going on. This is a setup. I could totally see you saying that.
Yeah, because like something, it just didn't feel right. Like they're like, oh, we get out the car, it's quiet, nobody's out, it's 150 degrees out here in the Vegas land.
Now, Sharon, that was hilarious when they was describing the music. It was like, okay, if you're gonna blast some music, can you blast something that everybody want to listen to? No offense to the pop rock.
Yeah. Oh man. The music was definitely a distraction though.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and I think you figured it out later on, but they was like, okay, why is this music, blaring or what have you? But like Tiffany said, when his sixth sense kind of kicked in, he was like, wait, because they were talking. So basically he was telling, he was like, wait, wait a minute, like something's not right. And as soon as he got that, shots was fired and things started happening so fast. But yeah, he kind of got a sense that, and even remember when he went back to the apartment and actually saw it, then I think really, his mind was like, okay, because he said literally this guy, and he looked and his car was in the same place. He was like, you know what? Okay, the guy saw us coming, and the guy, it was like you said, the guy, it had to be targeted because, like you said, from the angle, he saw both of us. He could have took both of us out. Yeah. So,
I mean, it was good
Tiffany,
though.
Do you have your portion that you want to read or share one of your favorite parts or what have you? And guys, if you are just joining us,
There's so many good parts.
I know. And guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with Sharon C. Cooper. Guys, we are talking about His to Defend. If you have not had a chance to read it, oh my goodness, go ahead, one click, get you a copy as well. It's a whole lot going on in His to Defend. Sharon does an amazing job with that as well. Sharon, as Tiffany is finding us, is there a certain character that you want to talk about or to discuss? Same thing, guys, in the comment section. If there's a certain character that we hadn't talked about yet, you want to discuss.
I don't know if there's a character. I am curious to know because this story, I wrote it a little different than some of my other ones. Where with my other romantic suspense, I feel like those books are romance with a big chunk of suspense. This one, to me, had a little more suspense than the others. Did you feel that way? Knowing that you've read a couple of my Atlanta's Finest, was it different at all, or was it did it feel pretty much the same?
I know for me, it felt a little more suspenseful. And for me, the romance part for this one was a little more of a slower burn, even though you could feel, like I said, you could feel their connection and definitely the chemistry was there or what have you. And with that, but yeah, for me, it has a lot of suspense. And like I said, it was like, the domino effect. You was like, what? Like even when while Tiffany is looking, even when is it Rochelle, the fiance, when she show up at the
girl with the baby. What the hell?
When she came in, I was like, what?
The baby was almost 4 months old. What?
So
and they've been living together for a year and a half?
was that too much? Was that too much for you?
I have questions. He was leading a double life. I have questions.
I was like, Max was like, fiance. And then when the stroller, he looked at it was Ezekiel. And so basically they had a non-verbal like
conversation.
Yeah, they were probably like, we're going to have to look into this for real now.
Right.
I just have so many questions. A year and a half, they're living together. His name is on the lease. He lied about his whole entire life. And then a baby? So the baby, wait, let's do the math on this. The baby was going on 4 months. Add 9 months onto that. Yeah, he was still married to Amina at the time. Hello?
Yeah.
Age was next to kin on any of his paperwork. What does that tell you, lady?
Yeah.
Look, Sharon, I'm gonna drink my tea and mind my business. You know that little TikTok that's going on. Drink my water and mind my business. I'm gonna drink my tea and mind my business.
I have to tell you, her part, that was fun to write.
I bet it was.
Yeah, that was fun to write because I'm in my head. I'm picturing Max like, hold up. You know, this is a guy he's known like, you know, forever, and all of a sudden, you know, he finds out he has a fiance and a child, and he knew nothing about it.
And he said the baby looked like him.
Yeah,
the baby looked like Jeremy. Whoa, like my Joey Lawrence. Whoa, like really? I'm sorry.
Actually, Sharon, they are loving that. Brenda said that was a real twist to the story. So, guys, if you're just joining us, I'm telling you, yeah, Sharon hit you with a couple of headliners in this one. It was like, yeah, you didn't see that coming. But yeah, Rochelle was one of those characters for me. Look, let's talk about it. Whenever you're ready to read your part.
I'm ready.
Oh,
okay. We'll let you read. We'll let you set it up.
Okay, so I'm going to read the part because there's so many good parts. I'm going to read the part that we discussed about them at the hospital when Samantha had had to admit that she let Maxwell know the information. So this is chapter 6. It's at the beginning. This is after after Amina got attacked in the parking lot. So how do you feel? Samantha asked when she finished taking Amina's blood pressure again. Propped up against pillows on the hospital bed, Amina kept her eyes closed. I'm embarrassed and I'm exhausted. I also feel like I've sprinted a New York City marathon in 10 minutes flat. Samantha laughed. Well, you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Amina cracked one eye open and glanced at her friend. Seriously? I made a fool of myself downstairs. I have never cried like that in my life. And of course it had to be in front of everyone. How am I going to be able to face them again? Samantha huffed, out of breath, and sat on the side of the bed. Girl, you just went through hell. All of us would have fallen apart, and all of us would have fallen apart had we been in your shoes. As far as embarrassment goes, please, you had a panic attack. My butt would have been passed out the moment that jerk showed up out of nowhere at my car. Trust me, you're doing amazing. You're way stronger than most of us would have been in that situation. Amina sat up straighter and linked her fingers in her lap, trying to stop her hands from shaking. Physically, she was fine, but mentally, she was still a nervous wreck. First, Jeremy. Now this? If she didn't know any better, she'd wonder if the mugging was connected to Jeremy's death. Amina shook the thought free, mentally chastising herself for going there. Clearly, she'd been watching too many crime shows. Her imagination was getting the best of her. Jeremy was killed in the line of duty. Of course, the attack on her had nothing to do with his murder. I've never been more scared in all of my life, she said. Thank God you got away. I only wish security would have caught that guy. But while you were being checked out, they found your bag and keys next to the car and brought them inside. Oh, and while they were questioning you, you mentioned that he had on a baseball cap. Did you see any part of his face? Anything that the rest of us should be looking out for? Amina shook her head, but stopped when the cut on her neck started stinging. It was a superficial wound, similar to a scrape, but the prickling sensation was just enough to be irritating. It was about 5 inches long, and it was about a half an inch of it that went a little bit deeper than the rest. It would probably leave a scar, but nothing as bad as it could have been. I would read more, but you guys have to pick up the book.
Yes. So, guys, we gave you a little bit of tea of that scene of after the incident had took place as well for that. And so, one of the scenes that I want to share, Sharon, again, we had talked about this scene is when he took Amina home to his house, not hers. He took Amina to his house, and they are eating, watching TV, all that good stuff as well. And Sharon, I threw Tiffany in on some tea as well. So Sharon, I can feel you on this because first of all, my family, my husband and I, we are fast in the Fast and the Furious franchise. We are all there. But the one that you mentioned, same thing. I haven't seen that one.
What? I love Tokyo Drift.
I know. I've seen like the other ones, but and so I was feeling like oh, I'm feeling Amina. We there because I am so here with this franchise. I'm invested. Okay. So that was funny. So when I read that, I was like, okay, Amina, yes, girl, we chatted. We hadn't seen that one. So
I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
Like that.
I watched that with my daughter and she loved it. I loved it. I love cars, so I loved it.
Yeah.
That was like one of the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love Fast and Furious. So okay. So let me start with. Okay, I'll just start here. I'm going to go get another beer. Maxwell said, interrupting Amina's thoughts. He paused the movie, then stood. You want anything from the kitchen? Maybe some water. He's wrapping it together. What's wrong? You look tense. If you're getting tired, we don't have to finish the movie. I know it's been a long day. Oh no, I'm fine. She wasn't ready for their time together to end. Okay, let me grab our drinks. Be right back. Amina tried to keep her thoughts from drifting back to the past as she resumed eating, but it was hard to do. She felt so stupid. Still, how has she not been able to see through Jeremy's crap before saying I do? She asked herself that was doing their short marriage even after they were divorced. No answer she managed to come up with was good enough to endure the heartache that Jeremy had inflicted. The signs had been there, but she had ignored them all. All right, there you go. Maxwell said when he returned, he had his beer in the crook of his arm, and in his hands were a bottle of water and a mug with steam billowing above it. I made you some calamine tea, thinking that maybe it will help you relax. Oh, Max, thank you, she said, accepting the mug that was warm in her hands. Even the small things he did made him stand out from any man she'd ever met, which was probably why Jeremy had been jealous of Maxwell. He used to talk about how everything came easy for him and how everyone at work loved him, that he was the golden boy who would do no wrong, and Jeremy couldn't stand that. Maxwell set the bottle of water on the end table next to her, then reclaimed his seat. Considering how huge the sofa was, he chose to sit close enough, and she inhaled his freshly showered scent. It wasn't just how amazing he smelled. It was everything about the man that turned her on. The way he carried himself, his kindness, his sense of honor. And if the man if it wasn't fine, an overwhelming current of heat charged through her and aroused a sensual need Amina hadn't felt for any man in a long time. If he wasn't trying to torture her with his, it was everything. It was work. And that to the fact that his leg was rubbed up against hers and she was about ready to leap out of her skin. Goodness, it had been a while since she's been with a man, and right now Maxwell's presence had all of her girly parts tingling. He pushed play on the remote and the movie continued, but watching it was the last thing Amina wanted to do. What she really wanted was to have her whole body pressed against his, feeling every single hard muscle. And what are you thinking about? He asked, his left eyebrow arched in a way that had Amina wondering if he could read her mind, or did something in her expression give away that she was having sexy thoughts about how she wanted to touch him, feel him. Oh, nothing, she croaked. Just enjoying your company and the movie. That was one of my favorite scenes because it was like she was having all these thoughts. He ass. He was like thinking about. In her mind, she was like, like I could not tell him what I'm thinking about. Yes, they're telling me I gotta see that I gotta see Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift or what have you. So guys, if you haven't read the book and you are a Fast and the Furious fan, put that in the comments too. Have you seen Tokyo Drift, or are you with me and Amina? Amina done seen it now.
Yeah.
No, she really didn't.
She probably missed parts of it.
Yes, because she was deep in thought. Okay, let's just say that.
That frustration was getting the best of her.
And that was the thing, Sharon, what we were saying earlier. It was like, yeah, both of them, they were struggling. Like, man. I love that. I love that. So, guys, of course, the time goes by so fast. Sharon, I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with us and talking a little bit about his to defend. If you can definitely share with us how we can stay connected with you and what you have going on next. Also include how they can get his to defend, because guys, it is actually still fairly new or what have you. So if you haven't had the opportunity, it is still available. Sharon, we'll give the floor.
Yep. Okay. You can get it from every retailer. And the links are on my website at SharonCooper.net. What do I have going on? Man, I've been busy.
What do you have going on next? You have an afterwards coming up.
I've been busy. Okay, next up, or the next release is His to Defend. No, the next release is Business Not As Usual. That's my first romantic comedy. If you like a good laugh or a lot of laughs, I highly recommend you pre-order it. It'll be released April 5th. If you are Atlanta's Finest fan, Lazarus Demas has another book coming out. He is a fan favorite with that Atlanta's Finest series. And if you knew how many emails I get, is Laz going to be in the next story? I promise you, I get that. I get an email like that all the time. And so recently I had this idea of a story for him and Journey. And I figured, you know what? Let me give the readers what they want. So his story comes out in July. And then for those of you who have followed my Reunited series, Casino Heat, that comes out in August. And that story, I have been working on that story off and on for years. It should have been out a long time ago, basically. So it'll finally be out towards the end of the summer. So that's what I'm working on.
I love it. So boys and girls, you got April, you got July and August. Okay, so something in the spring and then something in the summer for Sharon C. Cooper. So guys, you have time for these books, because they are in a series, to go back and catch up if you need to catch up as well. Make sure that you follow Sharon on social media, as well as guys, go to her website, sign up for her newsletter, all of that good stuff too, to stay in the loop with her as well.
You can find everything on my website.
Oh, go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, you can find all of that on my website, SharonCooper.net.
I love it. There you have it, boys and girls, SharonCooper.net. We'll make sure that we put that in the comment section as well. And Tiffany, tell us how we can stay connected with you as well, and tell them a little bit about Tiff's Happy's Place.
Okay, so I'm an avid book lover, reader, and I really don't blog, but I'm gonna stretch out. I enjoy doing the interviews with Angela. You can find me at Tiff's Happy Place on Facebook and Instagram. What else? I love to share my book mail. I read all across most genres. I'm romance, but I read outside. I am not just only African American stories. I just want you guys to know. So if you come on my page, I do promote a lot of books that are being that are out now, or that are on sale, or whatever have you. I like to follow authors, and I always like to find a new author. So That's me. Sharon, I have a whole bunch of your old backlog books.
Oh,
So
good.
when I'm cleaning up and I'm going through my books, I do post a lot of flashbacks of old books. Because even Frances Ray, who is one of my favorites, may she rest in peace. I have a lot of Elin Harris books because I was heavily into books in high school and college. So I have a lot of those old books talking Kimani and all that good stuff. So I did run across a couple of your older books.
Oh, good.
And I'm gonna start posting a lot of the older books because sometimes we forget where it all started.
Yep.
Like a lot of you authors have a large catalog, but a lot of people don't know about the back catalog. They only know about the current. And there are a lot of gems in the older catalogs that one, you may not be able to get. So some of us have them. I know Mama Tony has it all.
Oh, yeah.
I do like to go back and revisit some of those every now and again. So that's me in a nutshell. And Angela is always there to push me along because this has been quite a journey.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for the chat. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad you enjoyed the story.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love it. And Sharon, Brenda says, the queen of romantic suspense. Thank you, ladies, for a great hour. Brenda, you are
and thanks
so
for all of you who tuned in. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Veronica.
And, Veronica saying, thank you, Veronica. I love that. I love it. And Sharon, I'm going to actually let you have the last words. Is there something that you want to say to the readers or something you want to say about this particular book as well? You have the floor.
Okay. Well, thanks again for everyone who stopped by in the middle of a Saturday. And thanks, Angela and Tiffany, for a great conversation, reminding me of things that were in the book that I haven't seen in over a year.
That's what we do.
And I'm really glad you guys have enjoyed the story. Those of you who haven't read it, be sure to pick up a copy. Here's to defend. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes. I love it. Guys, that is our time here on Angela's Literary Tea. As Sharon said, it has been amazing hanging out with her on today and hanging out with Tiffany as well. Guys, if you are new to Sharon C. Cooper, definitely check her out. Find her on social media. Go to her website. As Tiffany said too, definitely find her backlog. She has some amazing books as well. Get caught up because like she said, she has a new book coming out in April as well as she has something coming out in July and August. So in a couple of months, you will have lots of things to find for Sharon Cooper as well. And guys, as we always say, have an amazing day because we're having an amazing day and we'll see you next time. And I definitely have to tell you, if you read any of Sharon's book, including his To Defend, make sure you leave a review, guys. I know that she will be so appreciative of that. So until next time, see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.